Dr. Amanda Brooks hadn't slept in 36 hours, but the caffeine coursing through her system wasn't the reason her hands were shaking. The holographic message floating above her desk pulsed with an otherworldly blue glow, its alien script shifting and reforming as the translation algorithm processed each symbol. As head of NASA's Deep Space Intelligence Division, she prepared for this moment for years. She just hadn't expected it to feel like a punch to the gut. "Display final translation," she commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surge. The alien text resolved into English, stark and cold. *To the species designate, human, Terra/Sol 3**. Your evaluation period has concluded. The Galactic Council has deemed your species unsuitable for continuation. Extinction protocols will commence in 30 planetary rotations. Resistance is inadvisable. Your technological inadequacy has been documented. This is your only warning. Amanda allowed herself 5 seconds to feel the fear. 5 seconds to acknowledge the weight of 7 billion lives now resting on decisions made in secret bunkers and classified facilities. Then she straightened her lab coat and pressed her palm against the biometric scanner hidden beneath her desk. "Computer, initiate protocol Prometheus. Authorization Brooks, Alpha 709. The laboratory's gentle blue lighting shifted to red. Hidden panels in the walls slid open, revealing banks of quantum computers that had been running simulations of this exact scenario for the past decade. The Council thought they were being subtle with their surveillance ships, their cloaked probes, their infiltration attempts. They didn't realize that humanity had detected them 15 years ago. "Dr. Brooks," her assistant Michael's voice crackled through the intercom. "The Joint Chiefs are assembling in the war room. They're requesting your presence. Tell them I'll be there in 10 minutes. And Michael, initiate the blackout protocol. No communications in or out of the facility except through quantum channels." She gathered her tablet and the secure drives containing 15 years of research, surveillance, and countermeasures. The Council's message was meant to inspire terror, to paralyze humanity with the knowledge that their extinction had been decided by beings so advanced they considered Earth's technology equivalent to stone tools. Walking through the underground facility's corridors, Amanda passed dozens of scientists and military personnel hurrying to their stations. None of them showed panic. They'd drilled for this, prepared for this, knowing it was only a matter of time before the Council made their move. In her pocket, her phone buzzed with a text from Colonel Harrison up on the junkyard station. "The birds are sleeping soundly. Ready when you are." A smile tugged at her lips. The Council thought they were watching primitive humans playing with rockets and satellites. They had no idea that each piece of space debris in Earth's orbit was a weapon, each failed satellite launch a carefully orchestrated deception. The war room doors parted for her, revealing the assembled Joint Chiefs and the President's face on the main screen. The room hummed with tension, but also determination. "Dr. Brooks," General Martinez nodded to her. "I assume you've received the same message we have." "Yes, sir. And all our preparations are in place." She connected her tablet to the main display, bringing up the culmination of 15 years of secret research. The Council believes they're dealing with a primitive species that barely understands faster than light travel. Their arrogance is their weakness. Every probe they sent, every surveillance ship they cloaked in our orbit, we learned from them, reverse-engineered their technology, prepared countermeasures. She brought up the holographic display of Earth's orbital grid. Thousands of dots representing their hidden defense network sparkled into view. "They're giving us 30 days before they begin their extinction protocol." Amanda's voice carried across the silent room. "I suggest we use that time to prepare humanity's response. The Council wants to make an example of us." Her eyes gleamed with fierce determination. "I say we show them exactly what humanity does when backed into a corner." The President leaned forward in his video feed. "Dr. Brooks, you've been saying for years this day would come. What's our next move?" "Now, Mr. President." She activated the quantum link to Colonel Harrison's station. Now we show them why you never underestimate human ingenuity. Colonel Jack Harrison floated in what appeared to be a worthless piece of space junk, a defunct weather satellite from 2018 according to official records. In reality, it was the command center for humanity's most sophisticated weapons platform. Through the reinforced viewport, he watched Earth's night side rotating below, city lights twinkling like fallen stars. "Status report," he commanded, his voice activating the holographic displays hidden within the seemingly broken satellite shell. "All systems nominal, sir," Lieutenant Sarah Parker responded from her station. "The Council's observation vessel is still maintaining position behind Luna's dark side. They haven't detected any anomalies in our debris field." Harrison allowed himself a grim chuckle. The Council's arrogance was almost comical. Their observers had spent years watching humans struggle with primitive rocket technology, never suspecting that each failed launch, each piece of space debris, was part of an elaborate deception. "Show me the Nevada array," he ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing a three-dimensional representation of what appeared to be random space junk orbiting Earth. To untrained eyes, or even advanced alien sensors, it looked like decades of accumulated satellite debris. In reality, each piece was a carefully positioned weapons platform, reverse-engineered from the Council ship that had crashed in Nevada in '97. "Sir," Parker's voice sharpened with urgency, "we're detecting quantum communication bursts from the Council vessel. They're reporting back to their fleet." Harrison's fingers danced across the holographic controls. "Let them report. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see." He opened a secure channel to Dr. Brooks's facility. "Amanda, they're taking the bait. Your virus package ready. Uploaded and waiting." Her voice came through crystal clear on the quantum channel. "The moment they try to access their neural networks for combat, our code will be there to greet them." The colonel turned his attention to the massive holographic display showing their true defense grid. Thousands of weapon platforms disguised as debris, each carrying technology the Council thought impossible for humans to possess. The aliens had never bothered to thoroughly scan what they assumed was garbage, a fatal mistake born of centuries of unchallenged superiority. "Lieutenant Parker, begin power-up sequences for the Lazarus grid. Keep it below detection thresholds." "Yes, sir." Initiating silent wake-up protocols. Around Earth's orbit, microscopic changes began occurring in what appeared to be space debris. Quantum cores spun up, weapon systems warmed, and targeting arrays activated, all hidden beneath a cloak of technological camouflage that made them appear as dead metal to Council scanners. Harrison checked the countdown timer Dr. Brooks had synchronized across all Earth's defense networks. 28 days until the Council's extinction protocols began. They'd need every minute of that time to ensure their trap was perfect. "Sir," Parker called out, "we're detecting increased activity from the Council vessel. They're launching probe drones." "Let them come," Harrison smiled. "Each drone they send is another piece of tech we can analyze. Their hubris makes them sloppy." He watched as the alien drones, sleek and advanced, moved through Earth's orbit taking detailed scans of human civilization. They passed right by weapons platforms capable of reducing them to atoms, never suspecting that the primitive humans had not only mastered their technology, but improved upon it. "Message from Dr. Brooks, sir," Parker announced. "The quantum virus package has been successfully installed in 3 of the passing drones. We'll have direct access to the Council's combat networks the moment they initiate hostilities." Harrison felt a surge of pride. This was humanity at its finest, backed into a corner, vastly outgunned, facing an enemy that considered them beneath notice, yet preparing to fight back with everything they had. "Send word to all stations," he ordered. "Continue visible launches of primitive rockets. Let's give our audience what they expect to see." He paused, looking at the beautiful blue planet below. "The Council thinks they're coming to exterminate a species of primitives barely able to reach their own moon. Instead, they're flying into a trap 15 years in the making." The holographic displays showed more Council drones entering orbit, their sensors passing harmlessly over humanity's hidden arsenal. In 28 days, they would learn a lesson that would shake the foundations of their empire. Never judge a species by its appearance. The wolves were ready. Let the hunters come. Major Lisa Rodriguez watched the tactical display as the Council's extermination fleet emerged from hyperspace behind Saturn's rings. In the dimly lit command center of the Pentagon's quantum bunker, dozens of operators maintained absolute silence, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of holographic screens. Counting 732 capital ships, her XO whispered, plus support vessels. God help us. God helps those who help themselves, Lisa replied, her fingers dancing across the neural interface Dr. Brooks had adapted from Council Tech. And we've got a few surprises for our visitors. The Council fleet was a sight to behold. Massive crystalline ships that seemed to bend light around them, smaller vessels moving in perfect geometric formations. Their neural-linked crews operated with machine-like precision, every movement choreographed through their shared consciousness network. That would be their undoing. All stations, initiate Operation Thunderclap, Lisa commanded. Activate the virus. Across Earth's orbit, the carefully orchestrated deception of the past 15 years began to unravel. Pieces of space debris suddenly powered up, revealing their true nature. The Council fleet's sensors registered the transformation, but it was already too late. They're spinning up weapons, her XO reported. Their neural network is, he grinned. They took the bait. Virus package is uploading. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. The Council's greatest strength, their neural-linked command structure, had become their greatest vulnerability. Every attempt to activate their weapons systems only spread the quantum virus faster through their network. Council vessels showing signs of confusion. An operator called out. Their formation is breaking down. On the main display, the elegant geometric patterns of the alien fleet began to dissolve into chaos. Ships fired thrusters randomly, their crews trapped in a neural feedback loop created by humanity's virus. Colonel Harrison reports the Lazarus grid is fully operational, her XO announced. All weapons platforms show green. Lisa took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. Humanity's first true strike against the galaxy's self-proclaimed masters. Target their command ship, she ordered. Let's show them what primitive humans can do. The debris field around Earth suddenly erupted with energy. Thousands of hidden weapons platforms revealed themselves, their combined firepower focusing on the massive crystalline vessel at the center of the Council fleet. The alien ship's shields, designed to repel known weapons, offered no protection against humanity's hybridized technology. The command ship's hull cracked like glass. Multiple Council vessels attempting emergency jumps, an operator reported. The virus is preventing coordinate calculations. They're trapped. Lisa watched as the mighty Council fleet, pride of the galaxy's oldest civilization, fell into complete disarray. Ships collided with each other as their neural-linked crews fought against the virus. Others fired weapons randomly, hitting their own vessels. Mom. Her XO's voice was urgent. We're receiving a transmission from the Council fleet. They're trying to surrender. Broadcast on all frequencies, Lisa commanded. This is Major Lisa Rodriguez of Earth's Defense Force. Your surrender is accepted. Deactivate all weapons systems and prepare to be boarded. Any vessel attempting to flee will be destroyed. She opened a secure channel to Dr. Brooks's facility. Amanda, it worked. The virus exceeded all expectations. Their entire command structure collapsed in minutes. Excellent, Brooks replied. But brace yourself. This is just the first wave. When word reaches the Council that their fleet was defeated by primitives, they'll respond with everything they have. Lisa looked at the tactical display, where Council ships were powering down one by one, their once proud crews now struggling with the realization that they'd been completely outmaneuvered. Let them come, she said. We've got more surprises waiting. Her XO approached with a tablet. First reports from boarding parties, ma'am. The Council crews. They're in shock. They can't believe they were defeated by humans. One commander kept saying it was impossible, that we were supposed to be centuries away from this level of technology. Their arrogance was their weakness, Lisa replied, watching as Earth forces secured the alien vessels. They spent so much time convincing themselves of our inferiority that they never considered we might be their equals. The display showed more Council ships surrendering, their mighty fleet now reduced to floating hulks under human control. The galaxy's masters had just learned a harsh lesson. Never underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation or its determination to survive. The trap had sprung perfectly. Now the real war could begin. Intelligence Officer Mike Davidson stared at the quantum communication array, his eyes widening as encrypted messages flooded in from across the galaxy. In the secure basement of the CIA's extraterrestrial division, he watched as species after species broke decades of silence. "Sir," his analyst, Jenny Torres, called out, "we're getting authenticated signals from the Proxima system. Ta Ceti, and, sir, there are dozens of them." Mike leaned forward, reading the translated messages. Each one told the same story. Civilizations deemed primitive by the Council, worlds living under the thumb of galaxy's oldest species, all reaching out after news of humanity's victory spread through quantum channels. "Display the Proxima transmission," he ordered. A holographic figure materialized, a being with iridescent scales and 4 arms, its movements conveying urgency even through the projection. The translation software kicked in. "People of Earth, I am Speaker Vrax of the Proxima Coalition. News of your victory has reached us. For 3 centuries, we have endured Council guidance, watched them suppress our development, lived as servants in our own system. You have done the impossible. You have shown they can be defeated." Mike's fingers flew across his console, verifying the transmission's authenticity. "Jenny, run a deep scan on their quantum signature. Are we sure this isn't Council manipulation?" "Signature's clean, sir. And," she paused, double-checking her readings, "it's being broadcast through modified Council tech, just like ours. They've been reverse engineering too." The implications hit Mike like a thunderbolt. Earth wasn't alone in its rebellion. Other species had been playing the same game, pretending submission while secretly advancing their technology. "Sir," another analyst called out, "incoming transmission from Ta Ceti. They're sharing military intelligence, Council fleet movements, defense protocols, command structure details." Mike immediately opened a secure line to Dr. Brooks. "Amanda, you need to see this. We're not just facing the Council, we're looking at a potential galactic uprising. Every species they've suppressed is reaching out." "Send me everything," she replied. "And Mike, be careful. The Council has spies everywhere. If they discover these communications, already on it," he assured her, implementing additional quantum encryption protocols. "But Amanda, you need to see what the Proximans sent. The Council, they've done this before, dozens of times. Species that showed too much promise, civilizations that developed too quickly, all eliminated under the guise of protecting galactic stability." He transmitted the data packets to her secure facility. The evidence was damning. Centuries of systematic suppression and extinction, all to maintain the Council's position at the top of the galactic hierarchy. Speaker Vrax's hologram continued. "We have hidden our true capabilities as you did, waited as you did. Now we offer an alliance. Together, we can end the Council's reign of terror. Your victory has shown us all that it's possible." Mike's strategic mind was already racing with possibilities. Earth's victory over the First Fleet wasn't just a military triumph. It was a political earthquake that would reshape the galaxy. "Jenny, prepare a secure response channel to the Proxima Coalition and get me everything we have on their tech level, military capabilities, and political structure." "Yes, sir. And, sir, The Taotians are reporting council ships mobilizing near their system. It looks like we're not the only ones about to face retaliation. Mike nodded grimly. The council won't take this lying down. They're going to hit back hard. Try to make an example of us all. He opened a channel to Colonel Harrison's orbital command. Jack, how quickly can we get our captured council ships operational? We might need them sooner than we thought. Already ahead of you, Harrison replied. Dr. Brooks's team is integrating our tech with their systems. Give us 48 hours. Mike looked at the stream of incoming transmissions. Dozens of species reaching out, sharing intelligence, offering support. The Council had spent centuries keeping these civilizations isolated, preventing them from communicating or cooperating. That isolation was now shattered. Send word to all our new allies, he commanded. Tell them to prepare their defenses. The Council's about to learn another lesson. Humanity doesn't just fight for itself. We fight for freedom. And we're not alone anymore. The quantum channels hummed with encrypted messages, carrying hope across light years. The galaxy was awakening, and Earth was leading the charge. Captain Emily Winters stood on the bridge of the HMS Deception, a captured council vessel now retrofitted with human ingenuity. Through the crystalline viewport, she watched as her holographic fleet shimmered into existence. Thousands of phantom warships, each a perfect digital replica of council design. Projectors at full capacity, her tactical officer reported. The Council's long-range sensors will detect exactly what we want them to see. Emily smiled. The real strike force, just 30 ships, was already in position, cloaked with hybrid technology that even the Council's advanced sensors couldn't penetrate. While their enemies would focus on the holographic armada, her teams would strike at the heart of their supply lines. Signal from Dr. Brooks, Captain, her communications officer announced. The FTL disruptor is ready for deployment. Patch her through. Dr. Brooks's hologram appeared on the bridge. Emily, the device is untested at this scale. If the calculations are off by even a fraction, then we'll all be scattered across 11 dimensions, Emily finished. But if it works, we'll cut off their reinforcement capabilities across this entire sector. She checked the tactical display. Council fleet is 8 minutes from arrival. Time to roll the dice. The bridge crew tensed. They were about to attempt something unprecedented, turning the Council's own faster-than-light technology against them by creating a massive disruption field that would make FTL travel impossible within the targeted space. Council ships emerging from FTL, Tactical reported. They're taking the bait. All weapons tracking our holographic fleet. Emily watched as the massive Council armada moved to engage what they thought was Earth's main assault force. The holograms performed perfectly, executing complex maneuvers that drew the enemy exactly where she wanted them. Strike teams, you are go for infiltration, she commanded. Dr. Brooks, initiate the disruptor sequence. Across the sector, carefully hidden devices activated. They weren't weapons in the traditional sense. They were something far more devastating. Each one generated a field that destabilized the very principles that made faster-than-light travel possible. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Council ships attempting to call in reinforcements found their FTL drives non-functional. Their supply lines, dependent on near-instantaneous transport, suddenly stretched into weeks or months of conventional travel time. Multiple Council vessels attempting emergency FTL jumps, Tactical reported with barely contained excitement. They're trapped in normal space. Emily opened a channel to all 30 of her real ships. Strike teams, execute attack pattern theta. Hit their supply ships first. Without reinforcements or resupply, that mighty armada is just expensive target practice. The battle that followed was unlike anything in human military history. While the Council fleet futilely engaged holographic enemies, Earth's strike teams systematically destroyed their supply lines. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for centuries found themselves outmaneuvered by vessels a fraction of their size. Captain, her science officer called out. We're detecting massive power fluctuations in the Council fleet. Their neural network is trying to compensate for the FTL disruption. That's their weakness, Emily realized. They rely too heavily on connected systems. Isolate a few key nodes, and the whole network starts to fail. She opened a channel to Dr. Brooks. Amanda, can we amplify the disruption effect? Push it into their neural frequency range. Already on it, Brooks replied. Transmitting new parameters now. Emily watched as the mighty Council fleet began to break formation. Without their neural network, without FTL capability, without supply lines, the galaxy's most powerful armada was reduced to individual ships fighting blind. Message from Council Command. Communications reported. They're ordering a full retreat. To where? Emily allowed herself a grim smile. Their FTL is dead, their supply lines are cut, and their neural network is collapsing. They have nowhere to go. The bridge crew watched in awe as the Council fleet, pride of the galaxy's oldest civilization, began to surrender ship by ship, not through overwhelming force, but through human ingenuity and strategy. Send word to Earth, Emily commanded. Tell them the impossible is done. We haven't just beaten their fleet. We've changed the rules of warfare itself. The stars seemed to shine brighter as humanity proved once again that creativity and adaptability were worth more than all the advanced technology in the galaxy. The tide hadn't just turned, it had become a tsunami. General Tom Martinez watched 12 holographic displays simultaneously, each showing a different uprising across the galaxy. From his command center in NORAD, he coordinated with rebel leaders from species the Council had suppressed for centuries. The Proximan's crystal ships engaged Council forces near their home system. The Tovsetians' stealth vessels struck at communication hubs. The Rigelians' quantum phase fighters slipped through supposedly impenetrable defenses. Sir, his aide reported, the Andromedans have breached the Council's defense line in their sector. They're requesting our viral warfare package. Transmitted, encrypted channels only, Martinez ordered. And get me speaker Vrax. The Proximans need to adjust their attack vector. The holographic form of the four-armed alien commander materialized. General Martinez, your strategy proves effective. The Council never expected their own neural networks could be turned against them. That's because they never imagined their primitive subjects could understand their technology, let alone improve it. Martinez replied, studying the tactical displays. Status of the Proximan fleet. 23 Council vessels neutralized, Vrax reported with pride. Their crews are still struggling to comprehend how we masked our technological advancement for so long, just as Earth did. Martinez allowed himself a brief smile. The Council's perfect order was unraveling across hundreds of light years. Their carefully maintained image of invincibility, shattered not by a single powerful blow, but by dozens of supposedly inferior species revealing their true capabilities. General. His tactical officer's voice was urgent. Multiple quantum signatures detected. The Council is deploying their Stellar Guard. The Stellar Guard, the Council's elite force, held in reserve for only the gravest threats. Their arrival meant the Council finally understood the true scale of the rebellion they faced. Martinez opened a channel to all Allied commanders. This is what we've prepared for. Execute Operation Hydra. Across the galaxy, rebel forces implemented the strategy Earth had developed. Instead of facing the Stellar Guard head-on, they split into smaller, more agile units. For every ship the Guard destroyed, 2 more seemed to appear. The Council's elite warriors found themselves fighting shadows, unable to land decisive blows against enemies who refused to mass their forces. Sir, transmission from Dr. Brooks, his communications officer announced. The quantum virus has successfully infiltrated the Stellar Guard's command network. Their neural links are compromised. On the tactical displays, the elite Council forces began to show signs of confusion. Their perfect coordination deteriorated as the virus spread through their neural networks, turning their greatest strength into a crippling weakness. Message from the Ta Sishan High Command. His aide reported. Their sleeper cells within Council space are activated. They're targeting key infrastructure. Martinez watched as centuries of Council dominance crumbled, not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through the combined efforts of species they had dismissed as unworthy. Earth's resistance had shown them all that it was possible to fight back. "Sir," his sensor officer's voice cracked with excitement, "the Council's primary communication hub in the Orion sector is going dark. The Rigelians' attack succeeded. Send word to all Allied forces," Martinez commanded. "Push the advantage. Don't give them time to regroup." The Council built their empire on the assumption that younger species could never cooperate effectively. Let's show them how wrong they were. Speaker Vrax's hologram flickered as his ship engaged enemy forces. "The Council's reign of suppression ends today, General. Thanks to Earth showing us the way." Martinez studied the strategic display, watching as more and more Council holdings fell to the coordinated rebel assault. The galaxy's masters were learning a harsh lesson about the species they had tried to keep divided and weak. "Sir," his aide approached with a datapad. "Casualty reports from all sectors. Our losses are minimal. The Council never prepared for this kind of warfare. They don't know how to fight enemies who think creatively. They've spent too long relying on technological superiority," Martinez replied, watching another Council stronghold fall to rebel forces. "They forgot that true strength lies not in advanced weapons, but in the will to use them wisely." The rebellion had become an avalanche, and the Council's perfect order was being buried beneath it. Dr. Amanda Brooks stared at the quantum sensor readings in horror. In the heart of her underground facility, surrounded by Earth's most advanced hybrid technology, she watched as the Council revealed their final, terrible weapon. "The Star Killer is powering up," her assistant Michael reported, his voice tight with fear. They're targeting Sol." The holographic display showed the massive Council device, a construct larger than Earth's moon, designed with a single purpose: to force stars into premature supernovas. The Council's message was clear: submit or watch your world burn. "Get me Colonel Harrison and the Joint Chiefs," Amanda commanded, her mind racing through calculations, "and contact our allies. I need every scrap of data they have on Council stellar engineering." Within moments, the emergency quantum conference was assembled. Harrison's hologram showed him in his orbital command, while the Joint Chiefs appeared from their bunker. Representatives from a dozen alien species joined, their various forms flickering in the holographic space. "The Council's using forbidden technology," Speaker Vrax of the Proxima Coalition announced. "The Star Killer was banned even among their own kind. They're desperate." Amanda pulled up the sensor data. "They think we'll surrender rather than face extinction. But there's something they've overlooked." Her fingers danced across the holographic controls, highlighting specific energy signatures. "Look at the quantum variance in their firing sequence." Harrison leaned forward in his projection. "Amanda, what are you seeing?" "The Council's weapon works by manipulating stellar matter at the quantum level," she explained. "But they're using base calculations that are centuries old. They never bothered to update them because no one was supposed to be able to challenge them." A fierce gleam appeared in her eyes. "But we've improved their quantum physics, and their own arrogance has left them vulnerable." The assembled leaders watched as she displayed her analysis. The Star Killer had a fundamental flaw, one that only a species that had truly understood and advanced Council technology could exploit. "Colonel Harrison," she said, "I need your best strike team. We have one shot at this." Harrison nodded grimly. "Task Force Shadow is ready. What's the plan?" Amanda transmitted a series of coordinates. "Their weapon creates a quantum tunnel to affect stellar matter. But if we can inject our improved phase shift technology into their beam at precisely the right moment, the weapon will collapse in on itself." Speaker Vrax finished, his scales shimmering with excitement. "Brilliant. It's a suicide mission," Harrison warned. "Getting the ship close enough to inject the phase shift." "I'll do it." A new voice joined the conference. Captain Emily Winters appeared, still aboard her hybrid vessel. "My ship's already equipped with the phase shift tech. We can get close enough." Amanda met Emily's holographic gaze. They both knew the chances of survival were minimal. "The Council's starting their firing sequence," Michael reported. "Time to stellar impact. 15 minutes. Amanda opened a secure channel to Emily's ship, transmitting the necessary modifications. "The timing has to be perfect," she explained. "Too early, and they'll detect you. Too late. Earth burns," Emily finished. "We won't fail." The assembled leaders watched as Task Force Shadow, led by Emily's ship, moved into position. The Star Killer's massive form began to glow with impossible energies, its beam preparing to tear Sol apart at the quantum level. 10 minutes to impact. Michael counted down. Amanda's hands clenched as she watched the Council weapon power up. Everything hinged on timing and the assumption that the Council's arrogance had left this one crucial flaw in their doomsday device. "They're launching the quantum beam," Harrison reported. Emily's ship drove straight toward the massive energy stream, carrying humanity's desperate countermeasure. The Council's weapons fired, trying to swat away what they saw as a futile last attempt at resistance. "Phase shift technology ready." Emily's voice came through, calm despite everything. "Initiating injection sequence." Amanda held her breath as she watched the sensors. If she was wrong about any of her calculations. The Star Killer's beam connected with Emily's ship just as it activated the phase shift. For a moment, reality itself seemed to bend. Then the impossible happened. The Council's mighty weapon began to collapse, its own energy turning inward as humanity's improved quantum physics disrupted its fundamental operations. The Star Killer, pride of the Council's forbidden arsenal, began to tear itself apart. "Emily," Amanda called out, "get out of there." Through the quantum static, a single response came through. "For Earth." The Star Killer exploded in a burst of quantum energy, taking the Council's last hope of victory with it. Lieutenant Ryan Cooper led his infiltration team through the crystalline corridors of the Council's central chamber on Alpha Centauri Prime. The mission wasn't about destruction. It was about truth. In his quantum-shielded backpack, he carried humanity's most powerful weapon. "Information. Security systems bypassed," whispered tech specialist Maria Santos, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. "Their own arrogance is working for us again. They never upgraded their protocols, thinking no primitive species could crack them." The chamber ahead housed the Council's Grand Assembly, the 12 ancient species that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. Even now, as their empire crumbled, they were meeting to plan their response to the rebellion. "Dr. Brooks, we're in position," Ryan sub-vocalized through his quantum comm. "Ready to initiate broadcast sequence." "Remember," Brooks's voice came through crystal clear, "once we start, we'll have exactly 3 minutes before their quantum dampeners can stop the transmission. Make them count." Ryan checked his tactical display. Around the galaxy, rebel forces held their positions, waiting for this moment. The Council's military might was broken, their Star Killer destroyed, but their greatest weapon had always been their perceived legitimacy. That ended today. Initiating broadcast. Now. Maria activated the device they'd carried into the heart of Council space. Quantum channels across thousands of light-years erupted with information. The true history of the Council, recorded in their own databases, every suppressed civilization, every orchestrated extinction, every lie they'd told to maintain their power. "They're scrambling to shut us down," Maria reported, her fingers flying across her controls. "But they can't stop it fast enough. The truth is out." Inside the Grand Assembly chamber, chaos erupted. The Council members, faces hidden behind their ornate masks, realized too late that their centuries of secrets were being exposed to every species in the galaxy. "Security forces approaching," warned Surgeon Chen, watching their perimeter sensors. "But they're standing down. The younger Council species guards are refusing orders." Ryan watched through the chamber's transparent walls as the council's carefully maintained order dissolved. The younger council species, themselves victims of the older members' manipulation, were turning against their masters. Broadcast at 60%, Maria announced. The quantum network is holding. Dr. Brooks's voice came through again. Ryan, prepare for Phase 2. General Martinez's forces are in position. Right on cue, the chamber's massive doors slid open. General Martinez strode in, flanked by representatives from every species the council had tried to suppress. Speaker Vrax of the Proxima Coalition, the Ta Sishan High Command, the Rigelian Archons, all stood united. Your reign ends today, Martins announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. Not through violence, but through truth. The species you deemed primitive have surpassed you. The civilizations you tried to keep divided have united. The eldest council member rose, his ancient voice quavering. You cannot understand the burden we carried. The responsibility of maintaining galactic order. Through fear, Ryan stepped forward, his team flanking him. Through suppression, through genocide, we've seen your records. Your order was built on the bones of countless species who dared to advance too quickly. Broadcast complete, Maria reported. The entire galaxy has seen the truth. The council chamber, designed to inspire awe, now felt like a tomb for dead ideas. One by one, the younger council species removed their masks, denouncing the system they'd been part of. The Galactic Assembly will be reformed, Martins declared, not based on age or tradition, but on merit. Every species will have a voice. Every civilization will have the right to advance at their own pace. Ryan watched as the council's power, maintained for centuries through deception and force, crumbled in minutes. The truth had done what no weapon could. It had broken their legitimacy completely. Dr. Brooks's voice came through one final time. Captain Winters would be proud. Her sacrifice wasn't just to save Earth, it was to free the galaxy. As the sun rose over Alpha Centauri Prime, Ryan stood witness to the dawn of a new era. Humanity hadn't just survived the Council's extinction attempt, they'd sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. Send word to Earth, Martinez commanded. Tell them the war is over. And tell them that Captain Emily Winters' last words will be our new beginning. For Earth will become for all. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if they too were celebrating the birth of a truly free galaxy. The long night of Council Dominion was over. A new day had begun.